Contenders, pretenders. There are some teams like the Miami Dolphins and Dallas Cowboys who look really hot right now. But are they good enough to make it to the end where they're hosting up the Lombardi Trophy? Because I don't know. I'm higher on the Philadelphia Eagles than most people, although they went kind of ugly. In the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, I never was that big on them. I feel they're a really big pretender. Like, I just think that everybody kind of just swallows the Chiefs because of Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, but that's all they have. And Travis Kelsey, like, I don't know if you peeped this, but do you think he's regressed, bro? Because I think he's definitely declined this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Travis Kelsey has not looked like Travis Kelsey. And there were rumors about him potentially retiring after this season. And yeah, he definitely. Wouldn't say he. I don't know if I would say he's regressed to the point where maybe his career is done, or maybe he's just having a down year, or maybe he's just hurt, bro. Like he definitely was hurt to start the year, and he just, you know, looks like he's getting older. Like, and I know that sucks to say because he's so good and arguably would go down as one of the best tight ends to ever play this game. But that's just the name of the game. You're gonna get older. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he's definitely slowed down and he's having a down year. I can totally agree with you on that, and that's a big reason why the Chiefs may not end up where they want to be because no weaponry. You didn't go out to get a wide receiver at the deadline. You're hoping so much into Travis Kelsey, even though his body could be breaking down on him after so many great years. And you just basically hoping Patrick Mahomes can do whatever, do it all, and he can't throw it and catch it. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely is the case. I definitely feel that that Travis Kelsey is kind of breaking down, but I don't know if I'm ready to say he's regressed. Maybe just this season, but who knows? Maybe he can get it together next year if he
How you
stays.
feel about how do you feel about Dallas? Like, me personally, like, I can never take Dallas seriously. I respect them.
Hmm.
I understand that they could possibly win it. But they're just one of those teams that you just got to show me, bro. Like, I wouldn't bet money on you. I wouldn't pick you to win. You probably most likely will annihilate a team that is from the NFC South because that's the conference of mid. But outside of that, like, I could have seen them beating the 49ers. And I don't care about what they do in the regular season, Juan Gotti. Playoff football and regular season football are two different things. And we've seen the Dallas Cowboys have the talent to go the distance in the past. And they go in the playoffs. They beat up on old man Tom Brady. That was cool. And then after that, they got crushed by the 49ers. The 49ers have been their kryptonite. I don't know if you believe that Dallas is a legit contender, but they're a pretender until they prove otherwise to me. Like, they just got to show me. You got to earn that.
Yeah, and I mean you're not wrong with that assessment. They always have really good regular season success. I even said today that I personally think Dak Prescott is the front runner for league MVP. Brock Purdy's not far behind. It's like neck and neck right now. But at the end of the day, that is a regular season award. That is not going to mean anything to get to the postseason. When they get to the postseason, I don't know if they're going to be able to get past the 49ers. I think they'll easily get past the first round, whoever they play. The second round, I could definitely they took Philly to the brink, the first time. And this Sunday is for first place in the division, and I think Dallas is gonna win it. So they could very well win the division. So they could be set up for success. However, I do agree. I don't see them getting past the 49ers in the NFC Championship, but they very well could, even if they host, uh, even if they host the playoff game versus Philly, because I think it's going to go Dallas, whoever they play in the NFC South, if they get the wild card. You know what I'm saying? Because if they that's right, they get the division, then they probably whoever honestly in that wild card back, whoever gets it, whether it's Minnesota, Seattle, and Rams, whoever, they're going to beat them in the first round. Second round, I think it's going to be probably they're going to probably end up matching up with Philly or whatever, maybe. Um, and I think the NFC Championship might be Dallas and 49ers. I hate to say that, and I hope I'm wrong, but either way, NFC East teams might be in the NFC
How
Championship.
you feel about Detroit?
I think Detroit is a little young. I think they'll probably get out of the first round, but I think they're a little young. I think this is their first year really getting things going, spelling some postseason success. because they I think they're gonna win the first round potentially.
Would you call
So
them a pretender as far as them being able to win the Super Bowl, or do you think they're legit? So
uh,
right now, who would you label as legit teams in the NFC that are legitimate contenders, and who would you label as pretenders?
I think they're I think it's probably two teams. I think it's the Eagles and the 49ers as contenders. Everyone knows. And the reason why I said the Cowboys are pretenders is because the same reason you're kind of concerned about them is that I know they're going to have a good regular season. It's about when they get to the postseason. Are they going to finally get over that hump? I don't know if they're going to be able to get past the 49ers. Maybe they're tired of getting beat up by the 49ers, but the 49ers are tired of being one game away from the NFC Championship. I mean, from the Super Bowl. So I don't know if they get past. So right now, I think I'm gonna have to go contenders. I mean, pretenders for them. The Lions, I think the Lions are good. I think they're a young team, though, and yeah, they're led by Jared Goff, who's been to the Super Bowl. So they could very well be contenders, but I just think they're 1 year early. I think they're going to win their first game, and I think they might lose. Even if they get to the NFC Championship, I don't see them beating the 49ers. I don't see them being Philly, and they got Dallas coming up here shortly, so they very well could be Dallas. So I think honestly, JT, and this sounds crazy. I think it's just two teams and contenders. I mean, yeah, it's two teams. I was gonna say maybe Green Bay, but I think they're too young. They're turning it around. But two teams for me, man, Philly and 49ers.
The AFC is just the injury to Trevor Lawrence is devastating. And I never took Jacksonville serious as a contender anyway. They were always a pretender in my eye. I felt like they're 1 year off. Trayvon Walker, he's a bust. They should have drafted Aiden Hutchinson. Like the whole argument about these potential prospects that have a lot of athletic upside, but they're really raw when it comes to technique and fundamentals. It's just you can never sell me on that. If I'm investing a first round pick on you, I need for you to produce right away, right? And the reason why having an impactful pass rusher is so important is because when you get into the playoffs, you're going against some of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And the majority of teams that make it far in the playoffs have good offensive lines. And you need to be able to get these quarterbacks off the field. And without having that additional pass rusher outside of Josh Allen, you're lacking that big championship component. And the Jaguars, to me, even when Trevor Lawrence was healthy, he's really inconsistent. I still don't think that he's lived up to his full potential yet. He hasn't played at an MVP level to me, but with this injury, it definitely opens the door for Houston. But Jacksonville to me looks to be a pretender. The Ravens, I really believe this is the year Lamar gets someone. I like him to win the AFC this year. Like they're the runaway best team in this conference to me. I think they're legit contenders.
Yeah, I piggyback on you with that, man. This is the Ravens. Yeah, I mean the path is set out for them. Um, if they don't win the Super Bowl, not win the Super Bowl, sorry, if they do not get to the AFC Championship and potentially the Super Bowl, I don't know if there's ever going to be a time for them. It's literally laid out for them, man. No Trevor Lawrence to really be a threat for the foreseeable future. No Aaron Rodgers, obviously. The Chiefs are struggling with no offensive help, right? The only threat that you could potentially say for them to be in their way is maybe the Dolphins. But as you mentioned earlier, you're really not that big on Miami. So this is their year, bro. If they do not get to the AFC Championship and win, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to do it. Like it's so open for them right now for the Baltimore Ravens. It's kind of like you have to get this done at this point because if they don't, again, as I mentioned before, I don't know if they ever going to have an opportunity like this presented to them. Basically, kind of giving them the AFC Championship appearance because I mean, there's nobody in the AFC with the injuries to Deshaun Watson, with the injury to Kenny Pickett now, like their offense is struggling, like they are already, but got better since firing Matt Canada. Like the only threat that could be were the Bills, were the Bengals, and those teams may not get into the playoffs because one, Joe Burrow's not playing for Cincinnati, and the Bills aren't playing good defensively. So it's just like there's no AFC threat really to stop the Ravens besides the Dolphins, and I think the Ravens could take the Dolphins. To be honest with you, so yeah, like I said before, this is, if they don't do it this year, I don't know if whenever I don't know if they're gonna ever do it.
Yeah, in Kansas City, it's just they don't. I'm not counting them out. It's just I'm just not under this whole presumption that because you got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelsey, just fuck everything else, you'll figure it out. Like the rest of the quarterbacks are, I'm not going to say they're just as good as Mahomes, but they're not too far off. Like Lamar Jackson is definitely good enough that, given with the right situation, if he goes out there and plays at his best level, they could knock off Kansas City on the road. You
Yeah,
feel me? And Joe Burrow has did the same thing. And the Ravens, truthfully, have like the most complete team in the AFC. And the Dolphins is just they can't win big games. You
yeah,
know, it's just it's been proven time in and time out. Like lost to the Eagles. You know, like they got smacked around a couple of years ago on Monday night or Sunday night against the Chargers. It's just they're just not good against teams that have good quarterbacks or like playoff talent.
yeah.
So overall, what are the teams that you think have the best shot to make it to the Super Bowl, at least right now?
For both conferences or just one? Like
Overall, like, give me your top two teams for both conferences that have the best shot, who are the most legit.
NFC, and just before 49ers and Eagles are my only teams that I think have a legit chance to get to the Super Bowl. You can say the Detroit Lions, but it's just hard for me to think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl in their first year of really getting things going. Last year was a boost towards the end of the season and almost made it to the playoffs, but this is their first playoff appearance in what, like 40, 30 years? Like, it's been wow. So it's just hard for me to think that they're just going to go right. And they could. They very well could. Because what did Cincinnati? Didn't Cincinnati go right to the Super Bowl their first playoff year? So potentially, I think, yeah, their first playoff year. But they had Joe Burrow. Jared Goff is not Joe Burrow. But I could see the Lions get to the divisional round, losing a heartbreaker, and then next year going all the way. This year, NFC, I think it's just 49ers and Eagles. AFC wise, Ravens, you can't really never count out Kansas City. Um, you gotta say the Dolphins, but with similar with you, I just think when they play a competent team that can really match their personnel, um, I don't know if they're really ready for that kind of smoke. I don't know, man. It's tough. Like I don't want to count on Buffalo, even though they're 10th seed. I think the Browns are going to fall off with their quarterback issue, so I don't see them making the playoffs no more. But if they would have made the playoffs defensively, they defensively they probably would have been able to carry their team to potentially the AFC Championship. But no quarterback to steer the ship. I think Buffalo may find a way to get back in that eighth hole, that seventh hole, and if they do, they could make a run as a seventh seed. But right now, I think it's a three-man race in the AFC and a two-man race in the NFC. Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs in the AFC, and 49ers and Eagles in NFC for a Super Bowl appearance.